reserve system. I mean, banks essentially create money out of nothing. We take out a loan, they take that money, and then they will leverage it perhaps 9 times or more through a system of fractional reserve. Past monetized private credit would be converted into U.S. government money. Banks act as intermediaries, accepting savings deposit, loaning them out to borrowers. They would continue to do what people think they do now under this new approach. And what would the government do? Well, we wouldn't have to borrow money from the banks and then own the bank's money to continue to finance the needs of this country. We could instead spend money into circulation on infrastructure, including the crucial human infrastructure of education and health care needed for a growing society. Now, as Zarlinga points out, the false specter of inflation is usually raised against such suggestions that our government fulfill its responsibility to furnish the money supply for the nation. He says that's a knee-jerk reaction, a result of decades, even centuries, of propaganda against government, because when one actually examines the monetary record, it becomes clear that government has a better record issuing and controlling money than the private issuers have. We're at a moment of change in this country. It's a change that millions of Americans celebrated last week. I had the opportunity to join members of Congress and watch that incredible moment of the inauguration. We saw millions of people coming together in celebration of this great nation. And whether we're Democrats, Republicans, or Independents, we could not help but be moved by that moment. Not just a transfer of power, but of a reaffirmation of who we are as a nation. A government of the people, by the people, and for the people, as Lincoln stated in Gettysburg. A government which has the dream to keep unfolding, to adapt to an undreamed of future. We are at a moment of crisis, but that crisis has created new opportunities. It's an opportunity for us to reset the pointer of where we go as a nation, try to get control of our nation again. We've lost a lot of control with a $700 billion bailout to the banks. We'll lose even more control if we give the banks another $1 trillion. We'll lose even more control if we permit the Fed to have total control over supervising corporate conduct in the United States. But if we take a new direction, if we see government having the capability to prime the pump of the economy, if we see government having the capability to create jobs where the private sector isn't creating jobs, if we see government having the capability to create health care, which will be a tremendous benefit to the private sector, which is laboring right now under tremendous costs for health care, if we see government creating possibilities to invest in technology at NASA and in other areas of our nation, where we can help to serve as the incubators for investment in the private sector. We don't even know the kind of growth that we're capable of by moving towards a works green administration, towards wind and solar and microtechnologies that would enable us to move in a new era of energy and a new era of cleaning up our environment. The government, there is a role to work together with the private sector, but we're at a moment where the government has to take the initiative. And it's very clear. I don't want the government running the banks. I'd like to see the government take control of the monetary supply and system. I think that I don't want the government bailing out the banks. I want capitalism to have a fair chance to succeed or not. We have a moment where we could come together, Democrats and Republicans alike. So as we get ready to address, as we will, this American Recovery Act, we need to look at how we can not just recover as a nation, but how we can begin anew to restore our country to fiscal integrity, restore the American family to health, restore the American family to prosperity, and once again, restore people's faith in their government. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, and I thank all those who have listened for this past hour. Thank you.